we'll be recording this press conference and making it available afterwards. You can pose questions in the chat and we'll make sure to cover as many as possible in the time that we have. So now I'll hand it over to Erica.
Thank you, Melissa. Today is a day that Adnan Syed and his loved ones have been waiting for 23 long years. The results of the DNA testing exclude Adnan and confirm what Adnan and his supporters have always known. Adnan Syed is innocent. The state of Maryland has dropped the charges. Adnan Syed is free. On behalf of Adnan, we are grateful to the Office of the State's Attorney and Adnan's many supporters who never gave up on him. We extend our deepest sympathy to the family of Heyman Lee and join in the hopes that an investigation will yield.
Erica, you're on mute.
Was I on mute the entire time?
No.
Okay.
You extended condolences to the Lee family.
Okay. So just saying that again, we offer our deepest sympathy to the family of Heyman Lee, and we join in the hope that an investigation will bring them real answers and a sense of closure. Adnan will not be making a comment at this time, and we would ask that you give him and his family space and privacy to be able to process and to begin to heal. Thank you.
Thank you. And again, we will open it up to questions. We ask that you put your questions in the chat and identify yourself and your media outlet there.
Melissa, are you're fielding the questions?
I will. So the first question is, when will you be filing a motion to certify his innocence?
We'll be working with the Office of the State's Attorney to begin that process as soon as possible.
Erica, I can jump in. We have a question from Miriam Khan at ABC News. Will Mr. Syed pursue any wrongful conviction compensation and what amount?
I think it's a bit premature to be talking about future litigation right now. This is a day that Adnan and his family have been waiting for, and we are in the moment just processing what happened today.
I will add, Dylan Segelbaum from the Banner asks, is the current appeal before the Maryland Court of Special Appeals moot?
Well, what I can say is that the Court of Special Appeals has not dismissed that appeal. So as of right now, it's still pending before the court, and we will wait to see whatever action the Court of Special Appeals believes is appropriate.
Okay, we have a question from Sarah Koenig from Serial. When will you be filing a motion to certify his innocence?
Oh, we addressed that already. We'll be working with the State's Attorney's Office to begin that process as quickly as possible.
And from Charlotte Plantive from AFP, do you know what are Adnan's plans for the future?
I know that Adnan would like to continue his education. He was very fortunate to have the benefit of beginning his Georgetown education while he was incarcerated. And I know that he's very committed. He was only 17 when he was incarcerated. He was accepted to college. He was really at the precipice of his young life. And I think he wants to be able to complete that and to be able to earn his degree.
And from Brian Wuti from the AP, is Adnan still under home monitoring? When will that change?
Adnan Syed is off of home monitoring today. He's free.
And from Simone Carter at Newsweek, how does Mr. Syed feel right now?
He is elated. He is joyful. He is still processing this. I mean, I think you can imagine this has been there have been so many ups and downs over the past 23 years. So he is really just taking it all in, but he's incredibly grateful for all of the people who have supported him and believed in him over the years.
This is from Sarah Koenig again. Will you guys be filing a complaint against the former prosecutors with the Attorney Grievance Commission for the Brady violation?
All attorneys have ethical obligations that we have to file. I don't think today is the day to comment on that, but every one of us who are officers of the court have our duties and obligations under the law.
And Emily Davies from the Washington Post. What does Adnan plan to do today on his first day of freedom in 23 years?
I think Adnan plans to spend time with his loved ones and to be able to do that without being on home detention and without an ankle monitor. I think he's just really elated to be able to have the small, quiet, everyday joys of freedom that many of us take for granted.
From Simone Carter at Newsweek. Do you feel that Serial and the tension the podcast brought to the case ultimately helped lead to Mr. Syed's freedom?
I think that with greater media attention it brings a light to injustices that are commonplace. So what has happened to Adnan is tragic and horrible, but it is incredibly common. The prosecutors withholding Brady evidence is the most common reason for wrongful convictions. And so what it has done is helped to educate the public. It has shined a light on a wrongdoing that happened to Adnan, but happens to criminal defendants all over the country. And it's something that we in the Innocence Project and the Office of the Public Defender are very familiar with. This kind of violation is not unusual. And being able to have the public see that is something that I think is valuable for Adnan, for other similarly situated defendants, and for the public to know in general.
From Selena Tavor from USA Today. The lawyer for Heyman Lee's family said her family learned through media accounts this morning that the charges were dropped against Adnan and received no notice or opportunity for an attorney to be present. Did the state's attorney's office reach out to the family?
Again, when talking about the family of Heyman Lee, first and foremost, we always want to express our deepest sympathy to them and what they're going through. Their entire world has been upended, and that is unfortunately very common when you're dealing with wrongful convictions. They've had a belief about who was responsible for this crime for all of these years. With regard to, how the state informed the victim's representative's lawyer, that's not a process that is something that we have a part in. That is something that takes place between the state's attorney's office and the victim or the victim's representative. So that's not something that I can really speak on.
Brittany Werner from WMAR. What degree is Adnan pursuing?
Well, first he's got to earn his BA. That's a start. And then I think he has dreams of going to law school.
From Miriam Khan. Do you believe state prosecutors will be announcing imminently who the additional suspects are? Can we expect an arrest soon?
The investigation is ongoing, and that is, in the sort of purview of the police who are investigating and the state's attorney's office making a decision about charging. So again, that is an aspect of the case that I'm not able to comment on.
From Charlotte Plantive at the AFP. What kind of damages can he try to get and how?
So this time today, I think it's a bit premature to be commenting on future litigation. That's a question for another day. Today, we are just elated that Adnan is free.
And so I missed part of an earlier question, apparently, of what are Adnan's thoughts on the ongoing investigation?
Well, because Adnan is innocent and didn't have any role in this, I think he wants to know, like the rest of us, what really happened.
And, Alex Mann at the Baltimore Sun asks, will Mr. Syed be assisting the estate's investigation in any way?
We, as It's interesting with wrongful convictions, with innocence cases, it is often the burden on the defendant to be able to solve the crime in order to be able to prove their innocence. But we still have an adversarial system, and we have our role, and the state has their role. So we have cooperated up until this point, and it will be up to the state and to the investigators to do their due diligence and follow this investigation all the way through.
From Peter Hayes at Bloomberg Industry Group. Why did it take 23 years for the DNA evidence to clear him? Is it due to advances in DNA technology?
It is the unfortunate reality that the way that our system is designed, and with the value that our system puts on finality, it is very difficult for individuals, once you are convicted, to get back into court to attempt to prove your innocence. We are fortunate in that we have the state's cooperation, but up until this point, Adnan did not have the cooperation of the state, and they had battled relief at every turn. And so we are where we are today, and it says a lot about the power disparities in our criminal legal system and how things can move faster when the state will cooperate with you. And when the state doesn't, things take a lot longer.
And I think that is all of the questions that we have. So thank you again, everybody, for joining. And we will leave it there. If you have further questions, you can email me at melissa.rothstein@maryland.gov. And we will end there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, and the recording will be available shortly online.